Well, Dan loves it.
Aye.
Steve gets both her points. Um, I've done a trailer reaction to it, like a proper trailer reaction. I'm going to upload tomorrow. You know what? It was good. It was good. I can't say it wasn't good. It's got the nostalgia feel. It's got the feel screaming for a new generation. But it's one of those kind of things where I feel as though if there was never a Scream 4, this would be perfect.
Aye.
But because there's already been a Scream 4, a legacy sequel, it kind of feels like they've just let's just cash in on Halloween 2018. Let's just cash in on the Force Awakens. Let's just cash in on the legacy sequel reboot thing. With the Scream 4 kind of felt natural because it was just at the hype of reboots, originals, and stuff like that. Whereas this one kind of as if it's cashing in on the legacy sequel. I mean, reboot, new company, new brand, all that kind of shit. I don't know. It does look good though. But I mean, I think from what we're seeing, anything goes. Like I think it's very Scream 3, after the third film, all bets are off. So I'm like, that's pretty cool. I mean, trailers can manipulate things, as I've noticed, and I've mentioned it to Steve, and anyone anyone who's seen the No Time to Die will know there's a scene in the trailer that they manipulate.
Aye.
And I was like, oh, that's smart. After seeing the film, you then look at the trailer and think, oh, that's smart. Okay, I see what you done there. I see what you done there, Broccoli. I see what you done there. So it's pretty good. You've seen it, haven't you?
I've not seen
No Time to Die.
No Time to Die yet. Like, I've been kind of cautious about it. Like, I don't know.
I'm saying nothing.
Like,
I'm saying nothing.
right.
Let's not discuss it.
I'll do my wee intro bit, and then we can get back into it, because Scream is one of the ones I want to talk about, actually, like, because for personal reasons. So, hi guys, everybody that's listening, watching on YouTube, everywhere else, Twitch, all that.
Hey guys.
This is Matty Monster and Jordan from That Effing Guy and Star Wars Podcast of the Old Republic.
Yeah, boy.
We are following on from one of the shows that I uploaded recently, which was actually from 2019, pre-COVID, before we all had our masks and all that.
The pre-COVID war. How about it? What a world! I mean, we thought the world was shit then. Fuck, was it? It was shit in 2020. I tell you that.
We were asking for
Take me back to 2019.
So if some of you can remember way back that far, you won't need to, because it's on Spotify as well. You can listen to it right now. The show before this one has been uploaded. It is all about me and Dylan's favourite horror movies to watch around October time, like when Halloween's coming up. So it's like the traditional ones that we like to watch, and if there's any new ones that have been coming up that we're going to talk about as well. James from Who Cares Nerds will also hopefully be joining us at some point in the future, during the broadcast. I'm not sure of like between now and whenever the hell we're finished.
I'm sorry, I've got the cold.
Oh, Jordan, man, give me one of them computer viruses.
A computer virus.
But aye, so in the show with Dylan a couple of years ago, we talked about American Werewolf in London, which was Dylan's favourite, which is, one of the greatest werewolf transformations ever seen, like in practical effects, I'd say.
Oh, so good.
I also talked about The Thing being one of my favourites for practical effects and stuff like that as well, which John Carpenter's The Thing is, in my eyes, an absolute fucking masterpiece. And Mario had suggested talking about Nightmare on Elm Street, which we did. We went into detail about talking about all the stuff that went on in that movie. Johnny Depp's, like, one of Johnny Depp's first acting roles as well, I believe. I don't know if it was his very first, but it was one of his early ones.
I think it was definitely his first theatrical role. Yeah, I think he'd done I was going to say, when was 21 Jump Street? When I was in late 80s. So yeah, it might have been his first role in general, actually. Yeah.
It was turned into, a few cans of Heinz tomato soup, but it was a good one for him. So this time round, what I'm going to try and do is talk about some of the newer horror movies that we've seen, some of the ones that we're looking forward to seeing. I know Jordan's got one in mind, at least. And also like talking about like series of horror movies that we enjoy just watching at this time of year. I have a little list of ones I'm going to try and cover, but obviously, if Jordan, if you've got any you want to kind of jump in on,
I've got a
any
list here.
phonics in there.
I've got a
Excellent.
list here.
So following on from what Jordan was talking about before I did my wee intro and cut him off, he was talking about Scream, because what was it, Scream 5 that's coming out?
Scream 5, Scream 2022. It's just called Scream, but Scream 5.
Right.
Scream 5, yeah.
Well, Scream, funny enough, was my very first horror movie that I ever saw.
Was it?
It was one night I was deciding to stay downstairs on the couch, and I sat down and watched telly, and on Channel 4 Scream was on. At the time, I was about 10-year-old at the time. I was shitting myself watching it.
Yeah,
right, and now I've watched it a good few times since, and I'm just like, this is fucking hilarious. Like,
it's
but
fantastic.
for my first exposure in those sort of films, like, I was pure terrified. I couldn't sleep. I was like, God, there's going to be a guy kicking about with a ghost face pure trying to stab me and stuff. But
I can't even think what my first horror film ever was. Because I grew up just flicking a channel, like just TV and just. So
Aye.
I remember flicking a channel over to a bit of The Evil Dead 2 and being like, what the fuck? And I would have been about, what, 10, 11, 12-year-old, maybe? I was quite a late bloomer. I mean, you hear people saying, like, I was 6-year-old when I first watched, this, and you're like, what the fuck?
I think that was the same with me. Like, most of the guys in my year were talking about horror movies for years before I actually got into actually sitting watching them.
I was a late bloomer.
I liked it. At first, they were really scary to me because, like, I was a pure sheltered child, but like, when I started watching them, I was like, I actually do kind of like this. This is my kind of shit.
Yeah. I flicked the channel a few times. I've seen like bits of Evil Dead 2, bits of Night of the Living Dead, the 1990 Tom Savini remake, bits of Elm Street. I remember Sky One at one point used to do like a series of films, and they used to do like a trilogy of films. Every week was a new film, and I think they were going through like a horror season back in the early 2000s. And I think it was like the Elm Street films, like the first 3 Elm Street films. So I've seen bits of them. And yeah, I mean, like, fuck it was something different than just watching, RoboCop and Terminator. Even back then, Terminator was like a fucking scary film for me. It was a horror film. As essentially a sci-fi horror slasher. It's very Halloween. It's very Michael Myers.
The opening scenes of RoboCop as well are pretty terrifying. For a wee guy who just getting pure blown to bits.
Oh, and then when you watch the uncut version of him getting blown to bits, he gets blown to bits again. But I even remember I know it's a brutal film. Even like the extended brutality is mental as well. But I remember watching Starship Troopers and shitting myself at that.
Aye.
And then see the
you watch it now and you're just like, this is like one of the movies. It's comedy here. Like, it's not so much scary.
I adore Starship Troopers. That scared the shit out of me. Fuck, even something as little as the X-Files movie. That scared the shit out of me as well. I was like 9 when I watched that. That scared the fuck out of me. See when little the wee kid falls down the cave and he looks up and the goo's in his eye, and I'm like, holy fucking shit. I could be that kid. Fuck on it. You know what I mean? So, horror films scared me as a kid, but, for the different ones, when you look at them now, you think, it's fucking X-Files. Jesus Christ. It's fucking Starship Troopers. But back then, they were petrifying.
But, I think the only ones out of, the big sort of major slasher movies that I have never really got into, which is kind of ironic considering I'm a scout leader now that goes camping, was, the Friday the 13th movies. They
must piss you off.
It's not even that. It's not that I've got no intentions of I don't like them or anything like that. I've just never really had a chance to sit down and get into the whole Jason story. It's all over the place for me because obviously I know the first movie it's his mom that's killing everybody, and it's I think because I want to see Jason in the hockey mask and all that, I've got to wait 3 or 4 movies before I finally see that sort of thing. Going by what I know.
Do you know what you should do? I know this is probably sacrilege saying this, but you should watch the 2009 reboot because that basically put mushes together 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3 together. So it's like it starts with his mom being getting decapitated and all that kind of shit. Spoilers. You then see Bagface Jason Part 2, and you see Jason Get a Mask Part 3. It's all in that one film. So if you want to kind of fast track the Friday the 13th anthology or mythology, then just watch the reboot. I mean, there's not much to it. He's an ugly fuck that he's got a face only a mother can love, and he kills camp counselors in Friday the 13th. And usually those camp counselors are shagging, so it's all good.
Aye. It's one of the things, like, you always see it on the AVGN Cinemassacre, like Monster Madness that they did. Like, they used to do like a show every single day through the 31 days of October, and they used to do like a Jason Voorhees, like the top 31 kills of his and all that. And I think the best one I ever seen, I don't know if it was like Jason X or something like that, but it was one where it was like
the ice that
No, in fact, it wouldn't have been Jason X. It's one of the ones like it's just the camp counselors are in a sleeping bag and he just
whacking
like,
them,
whacks him off a tree and all that.
That's Jason X. That's Jason X. That's the.
I know. Is that another one? He's like in space or something like that? Something weird.
Yeah. Do you know what it only took? Do you know what it took me? It actually took me to only a few years ago to figure out why it's called Jason X.
Because it's the 10th movie.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought it was like Jason Extreme or like Jason 2.0, but it's not. It's Jason 10, the 10th. And I was like, oh, that fucking. But yeah, Jason
Hello,
X
Daniel.
is
Hello, Gordon in the chat.
Jason X is a guilty pleasure of the Friday 13 films. Hey boys, I don't see this chat. I don't see the chat. Oh, Daniel's here. Hey Daniel, how you doing, man? American Werewolf in London is a great film. It fucking is, man. I love that film. I was watching back your first chat with
Dylan.
Sorry, man. And
he's never on. So
your points and your notes were spot on. Like, it's a fucking great.
It's one of the ones like
great film.
With that. What I did was with my last show. What I did, I sat down and watched the movie. I sat and the way I used to do my podcast, because me and Dylan used to record, and we used to sit for a good 5 hours to get maybe 20 minutes of fucking usable material, which sounds along the same way you guys are.
Yeah. That's literally that's what we've done at first. Now we're kind of more. We're a little bit more orchestrated.
Aye, but you get a bit better, the more you do it, you get a bit better feel for it.
But yeah, we were doing like 5 hours for like an hour's worth of footage.
Aye, but the way I did it was I asked Dylan, like, sit down and watch whatever movie you're picking, make some notes of it as you're going through it, and then just kind of refer to them while we're doing it. That's how the last show felt so. I'm not going to say professional, but it felt like one of the best shows that I've ever done, because I listened to it the other day and I was like, I can't believe I actually did this. Like, it was
really good. Because when it started off, I was on the way up to Glasgow for a wee geeky shop with my friend Abigail, and I was like, I'll stick it on and listen to it. And it started off just like normal, just like two guys just like mumble jumble, and then it went into like a proper like Mark Commode kind of thing. I'm just like, holy fuck, they're really fucking going in for the comments and I mean, don't get me wrong. Several times you were like, I can't remember that guy's name. I was like, oh, there's a professionalism went down the hill. But there
was a point I couldn't remember the name of one of the actors in it or something like that, and then I went across the room to grab the DVD box, and all you hear is just me walking along. I just left it in. I was like, do you know what? I'm not editing that. I'm leaving.
Do you know what? It's natural. It's natural. I mean, see when I'm doing when I pre-record my videos and stuff like that, which I'm making a comeback, by the way. Halloween Kills, not Halloween Kills, Scream 2022 trailer reaction. I'll put it up tomorrow. My first video in over a month because I started a new job. Long story short, I'll be back in action soon. See, when I'm filming my videos, even though they're pre-recorded, the amount of times I fuck up, I'm just like, so Halloween Kills stars some fucker again. Can't remember his called again. Jamie Lee Curtis. And I'm like, Jamie Lee Curtis, and I can't ever get Judy Greer right. I say Jamie Lee Curtis, Andy Matichak, or Matty, whatever she says her name. And I'm like, and Karen Strode. And I hate it because they're all pre-recorded videos. I should have these all notes. But so then when you watch the video, you're just like, you could just edit that out, but I just don't. I'm a lazy bastard. But yeah, my professionalism goes up and down times. 1 minute it's really good, next minute it's just like a pile of shit. For example,
That's what we
our
do.
Star Wars themed podcast. 1 minute we sound good, next minute we just sound like three guys just fuck it, Star Wars. I mean, but no, it's fun. So yeah.
So, following on from something else that you've just said, Halloween. The Halloween series is something that I always watch during about Halloween season. Aye.
Go figure I'm
the
wearing this.
all the originals have
There
just
we
been
go.
put up on Netflix as well.
I know, what a treat
Which
from
I've-
that
me
was
and Wayne-
mental.
Me and Wayne sat down and watched the thing, number one last night. I say me and Wayne, she fell asleep halfway through it. But like, I was like, this is, and she was like, I don't understand how this is scary. And I was like, I know, but think about it.
Shut
This was
the
the
fuck
70s. I know.
I
but
know,
also,
I know.
This
I
guy,
know.
this guy is out of a mental institution and is just going around just murking kids.
Do you know what?
Just murking everybody.
I had a similar situation, I had a similar reaction. So when Halloween 2018 came out, Cineworld very respectively aired the 78 original a week before, I think it was, the new one. So I thought, fantastic. I've never experienced Halloween like the first, like the original one on the big screen. I've only ever seen Rob Zombie's Halloween and Halloween 2018 on the big screen. So I was like, right, well, obviously pre-2018, you might see the 78. So my mum was going to go see the new 2018 one. So I was like, oh, do you want to go along with Kirsty, me and Kirsty, my girlfriend? Do you want to go along and see? I'm not telling her this. She knows it's my girlfriend. I'm just for the viewers. Do you want to go see Halloween 78 before 2018? Yeah, thank you. So we're watching it, and I'm loving it. I love Halloween. I'm just like fucking all day long loving Halloween. Mum is loving it, but my mum did say though, like, it's funny how like this was petrifying back 40 years ago. And I'm like, fair enough, that's what it is. It's like The Exorcist. People are like, oh my god, I collapsed and get taken away by an ambulance, and you think, fuck off. The only thing that pissed me off was there was groups of young kids, because obviously when Halloween 78 got re-released, it was a 15 rating. So because there's nothing in it. Right, let's be honest, there's nothing in it. Right, it's quite tame. So it's a 15. So what does that mean? 15-year-old kids. So with groups of 15-year-old kids, with groups of 15-year-old. Sorry, we had groups of 15-year-old kids fucking about in front of us, just laughing. And when it was like deaths of like Annie's death, when she's against the car window, she's like, her nose not that, all that kind of shit. And I'm like, see, the youth of today, they just don't get horror. They just don't get good classic horror films. I mean, I'm all for like all out slashers, blood, gore, tits, all that kind of stuff, right? But you do love the simplicity of like the very first Halloween, the very first Psycho. We love simplicity, as well as the tits and the gore and the slashing and dicing and cut a hole in your ass, etc. But so when you look at Halloween 78 now, it is so simplistic compared to like Halloween 2018. Upcoming Halloween Kills is supposed to be the most bloodiest, brutalist Halloween of all time. Cannot wait. I mean, I'm jacked to the tits, but there's nothing wrong with simplicity. Halloween. So when you've got the kids laughing and there's not that much tits and gore and I'm just like, shut the fuck up.
But talking about simplicity.
2 seconds. James Matthews, my sister's my sister. That's weird. My girlfriend's little brother is on here. So hi, James.
Hi, James.
That's it. He likes Halloween. He loves Halloween films.
So Michael Myers has always been up there as one of my top 5 slasher horror guys.
I fucking love him.
But like talking about simplicity in movies, the sort of found footage movies, like our horror movies as well, they're the ones that kind of get to me because like they feel more realistic in a way. Like,
oh, do you mean
like
so they get kind of good to you then?
And like Paranormal Activity and stuff like that, the way they are filmed, it makes it feel more closer to what rather than like a big budget like Hollywood movie would be. It feels like it's like something that's actually happened, so it kind of like sticks in your mind a wee bit more. Well, the Paranormal Activity movies, especially, like when they first came out, like a few years ago, I remember going to see the first one, and because
I missed that.
It was one of the ones. Like, see if you see it in the cinema, like. I don't know if it was the same everywhere, but down our bit there was 4 different endings that they showed on different times through the day. So like you'd go to your mates, you'd say, "Oh, did you see the ending where so and so like gets thrown into the camera or whatever?" And then they're like, "No, that's not what I've seen." And then you're just kind of a wee bit creeped out, as in was it a different tape or did something weird happen? But like after the first one, I was so creeped out. I couldn't sleep for a good 3 nights because I was just like, I can't handle this. Like, because I'm not usually a big believer in all like occult stuff and like ghosts and shit, but that one kind of freaked me out enough to kind of be like, there could be a possibility a wee bit,
Have you seen a trailer for the new one?
I didn't know there was a new one.
There's a 7th one. It's a sort of reboot. It's called Paranormal Activity: Next of Kin, and it's
I heard about this. I don't think I've seen the trailer, but I've heard about it.
It's been shown. It's like an exclusive for Paramount Plus in America. Over here, I don't know, like Amazon Prime or something like that. And it's been shown in, I think it's October 29th. What he's saying is, what's I going to say? Aye. So this one's like a group of a documentarian group. They're going to like a Amish country. I'm saying Amish, they're going to Annam. They're going to Amish country to track down like the next of kin for someone, and obviously shit hits the fan.
Okay.
Yeah, but what was he saying? Yes, I should be in this stream. I would definitely win a Michael Myers trivia. Well, next time, that's fine. You know what? We'll put it to the test then. Next time. As for now,
we'll see how well Steve does at the next quiz, and then we'll see.
I know.
I'll get one arranged for his show next year.
Well, Steve, our next one, we're going to do a quiz soon with Steve because obviously we've started to do the horror and sci-fi quiz. I think he's hosting that at some point via the podcast channel. So whenever we do it, we'll get it done and we'll get everyone around because I love our quiz. The quiz is fun because it's not just
sit down and watch alongs are fun as well. Like,
yeah. Oh, thank you.
Can't wait for the next one.
We try. Oh well, our next one is
Empire,
yeah, Empire Strikes Back is next. So again, it's just time consuming. It's just trying to find time to get the lads together. I started in my local pub, so it's just trying to get time to balance all that out because obviously you work in a pub, you're there to the end of days. So, but yeah, we'll get there. But no, found footage films. I think the only issue with them is they were fun at first. They were cheap and easy. I mean, you make them for like $1 million, and you make back, 100. So they're cheap and easy for companies just to be like, fuck it, there's $1 million, go make a fucking film. We'll see in 2 weeks. But it became a trend that just kind of got like, right, fuck it, because it's at one point there was going to be which I wouldn't have minded this actually. There was going to be a Friday the 13th found footage film, and I was like, that could have been interesting. And then
seems like a Blair Witch crossover, to be honest. It's like finding kids in this.
It'd been quite good to see that, but I think the found footage phase kind of phased away, and I think this new Paranormal Activity will maybe like resurgence of found footage films because there's found footage and then there's just taking the piss. I think companies just thought, fuck it, let's just take the piss and just make what we fucking give me £30 and I'll make a fucking film. But
I think what I liked about like the Blair Witch Project when it first came out, it came out around about when I was born, so obviously I didn't see it.
Absolute masterpiece.
Aye, it wasn't just that. It was a great like movie, but see when you watch it, absolutely fuck all happens in it for a good hour. Like fuck all happens the whole movie.
Even when stuff does happen, fuck all happens.
Aye, just like you don't see fuck all, but it's just because it's like you don't see it. It kind of works for your imagination. You're just like, all right, teach you the fear of the woods.
You shove a couple of kids in a forest with some cameras and say, right, go and we'll make some noises. You're fucking shitting yourself.
But it wasn't just that. It was like the actors as well. Like under like their contract, they had to hide for like 3 or 4 months after the movie was released. So like their parents were getting sent like condolence letters and all this stuff as well. And it was like it's a bit weird, but at the same time, it's good that they had that sort of mind to make other people believe this had actually happened.
That's like, you ever heard of a film? I can't remember the director of it is, but it's called Cannibal Holocaust.
I've heard of it.
It's an extremely savage, early 80s found footage documentary kind of movie. group of kids from college go out into the wilderness, go out into the Green Inferno to shoot a nature movie, and they get taken in by the cannibals and fucked about with and all that, and they get their footage is found footage. And it turns out they're all dead, right? It's not exactly a spoiler. Like the fucking film starts off them all dead anyway, and it just basically you're watching like the next guy's watching their footage, so it kind of cuts back and forth from their footage, their found footage, their camcorder footage, well, for the big fucking thing. But it's quite good though. But it's one of those kind of things where you look at it and be like, for the simplicity of it, they done the same thing as well though. They all signed contracts, do not show your face in public for I think it was about a year, and it got to a point where the deaths in the film looked so real that the director got taken to court and had to actually prove that they're alive and well, and they're hiding. So obviously Blair Witch took the same approach, but
that's when you've done a good job though, when you're getting taken to court on a murder charge.
Don't get me wrong, like the film it's extremely guilty pleasure. I mean, it is vulgar, it is disgusting, but it's not. I don't want to say it's good, but it's a good film. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, he physically kills animals in it. Like, they do hunt for their food and stuff like that, so they are killing animals for the film. So, they're definitely pissing off the PETA people. But for the horror, gory, just disgusting aspect, you're like, that's fucking fantastic. You know what I mean? So I thought it was a great film. Don't get me wrong. I think he did get done for like killing animals and all that kind of thing. But he was like, fuck it, it's a fucking pig. I've made back $30 million. Fuck it. So, but no, they done the same approach by getting all their actors and actresses to hide and get to a point where they had to actually prove they're alive just to don't get done for murder. But yeah, camcorder films, so they are the simplest of filmmaking.
It's the kind of movies that make me feel like I could easily make like a decent horror movie if I was to do this sort of style, because it is like that's the sort of stuff I like, and I would feel comfortable going camping in the woods and doing some sort of thing like this.
Oh, it's so easy.
It'd be so easy to do like a Scottish version, but you just know you'd end up getting scalps or something.
Well, there's iPhones, like fucking so easy. You can film a movie in that.
There's more take in that than there is on the stuff they used to film the original Blair Witch. So, like,
exactly. Do you know, you were saying about a Scottish Blair Witch? I don't know whatever happened to this, but back when me, Steve, and Dan were in college, way back in 2010, 2011, there was a production company in Glasgow who actually were getting set to make a Scottish remake or Scottish inspired version of the Blair Witch Project. Like, it's full on budget, director, it was a female director. I think there was a good few kind of well-known-ish actors of Scotland in it. I don't know whatever happened to it, because it got to a point where I think when I looked at it last, like way back in 2011, 2012, it was like, we're filming next week somewhere up in the Highlands.
Aye.
I take it they're alive and well and never get killed by the fucking hillbillies of Inverness. I don't know. But it was, I never heard of any of them again. So either the film get cancelled and they've just hidden out of embarrassment, or they went up there, got their arse shagged and get killed. So,
I don't know anything about this. Like,
it was something weird. And do you know what's funny? See if you Google it, I bet it comes up something. I need to Google this actually. Because it was from like centuries ago. But it's one of those kind of things where just talking about that there, and you mentioned Scottish Blair Witch, I was like, oh fuck. And I think it was going to be called Blair Witch as well.
Because I remember there was a remake, or not a remake. It was more of a sequel a few years ago.
Yeah.
Which actually wasn't too bad, to be honest. It wasn't as creepy as the first one, but
nah, I didn't like it.
Overall, I wasn't a massive fan of it, but at the same time, I liked it as like a sort of standalone. I liked it like that, but I didn't really like it related to the original.
It just it showed
too much. The second one as well, like, was that's
Book of Shadows.
Aye, I mean, that's still a good kind of freaky movie, but like it's nothing. It doesn't feel like it's anything to do with the first movie because it's not found. Well, it's not really found footage. It is like they are kind of running around with cameras, but it's like you see it from a third person perspective as well. Like you see it as like a sort of movie sort of style.
Do you know the only good thing about the newer Blair Witch which was out 5 years ago? I think it was 2016, so 5 years ago. The only good thing about it was connected to the original one, and it was Heather. Was it Heather?
Aye, it was. I think it was her little brother.
It was Heather's little brother, all grown up and being like, "I'll go and see if I can find her." 20 years later, I don't know. I mean, that's the only thing I really enjoyed, and I enjoyed the creepiness of it and the aspect of it. But then they showed the witch, and it's
I remember that. That was a bit kind of fell away
because I kind of was like, you don't want to see an actual witch.
Yeah.
And then when they show it, it's this big CGI fucking scrawny looking thing, and yeah, creepy, but you're just like, nah, you've just ruined it. You've just ruined the aspect. There's no one. It's what you don't see that scared the shit out of you.
Aye.
But I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know what the brother was expecting to find 20 years later. I mean, was expecting to find Heather and Michael and the other guy and be like, "Hey guys, how you doing? All right. Well, it's been 20 years. Hey, he's all right. Yeah, we're all right. We're enjoying, the wildlife." I don't really know what he expected to find, but it's just one of those kind of things. But nothing beats the original one. The original Blair Witch is just superb. Like, it's even rewatching it, that's a fucking really good film. Kirsty's not a fan of it because she is one of those minority of like, nothing happens, what shite. I'm like, shut up.
See, like Susie, my missus, she used to be a fan of it, but she's like became pagan over the last few years, so she does like all the proper witchcrafty stuff, and she's just like watching it, and she's just like, "Do you know what? Like, that is her just being pissed off." And I'm just like, "Stop bringing like reality into this. You're ruining it for me." Everything that involves a witch nowadays, like Sabrina and all this, like she's pure critiquing it right down, and I'm just like,
I've never watched the new Sabrina. See the new one on Netflix. I've not watched it yet.
I watched the first season. It was not bad, but
I think Steve watched it. I don't know. Need to tell you that.
I know it ties in with that.
Things.
I know it's tying in with that Riverdale.
Because it's all the Archie comics are.
Apparently they're doing a crossover this year where Sabrina comes up there. Back to the show.
Yeah. Candyman. Have you seen your Candyman yet?
Yes, I have.
What do you think of
it? Shit myself. Candyman's just not my. Well, no, it's not that I don't like it. It's just like it's one of the ones. It's hella creepy. And
I liked it.
It's one of the ones people tell me it's creepy, and I'm just like, it can't be that bad. And I watch it, and I'm just like, oh fuck, like people are like, it's the same way like stuff like Squid Game. Like I've still not watched Squid Game because it's so big a thing right now. Like I don't want to wait. I don't be one of them guys that waits so long. I will eventually get around to watching it, but it's just because everybody's talking about it just now. It's just like I can't be arsed because it just feels like I've already watched it because people are talking about it in front of me.
We finished Squid Game last week. I liked it I thought it was really, really good. I thought it was very Battle Royale, Hunger Games, that kind of thing.
I like all the men movies, so I assume I would like it.
But I was like that. See what you're saying about like waiting until the dust settles, basically. I was like that with Tiger King. See the first season of Tiger King? Tiger King, I guess right. Tiger King. I was very kind of late to the party because I'll just let the dust settle and I'll watch it when I can. And I watched it all. Fantastic series, brutal. Looking forward to the next series. But I wouldn't leave Squid Game too late because you're going to get to the point where like nobody's going to talk about it. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, Squid Game, great series, cool."
It was the same. I did the same with The Witcher. I waited a couple of weeks after it kind of died down, and like I'm not into The Witcher games, but like I like Henry Cavill.
I don't know. I don't know.
That was the main thing that kind of put me into it, but quite liked it. Like
I've not tried it. I mean, I don't know. I don't really.
It's not. It's actually a not bad watch because it's not like Connor's like CGI like he does in all these fucking Superman movies. Like there is like some actual story to it and all that, and they're going by the books rather than the actual games, which a lot of people are kind of calling out. But like it's
one of those kind of things where. Yeah, it's one of those kind of things where I don't really care about The Witcher, but I'm really happy that Henry Cavill's got something
Aye.
to just
To
kind
do.
of keep him going now until we figure out what the fuck's happening with the DCEU, DC fucking whatever the fuck they're doing. So I'm happy he's got
We might
something.
find out on Saturday.
I know DC fandom. Fuck, it came so fast, isn't it? So we've got Halloween Kills, DC fandom, and Adele's returning. It's a great fucking week. Great fucking week. I cannot wait. I'm ecstatic right now. Like my inner gayness is expanding for Adele. Adele is back. It'll take her fucking 7 years, 6 years. 6 years and several tour cancellations, a bitch.
What else? What other movies do you like watching? Because I've kind of went through most of my ones.
I'm quite simple. Like Halloween, obviously, is a no-brainer.
Aye.
I mean, it's one of those things where I watch Halloween at any time of the year. But it's always a good rewatch during Halloween season.
Aye.
Halloween,
What about the Chucky movies? You into Chucky?
I don't mind them.
I think I like the first three. The last two, obviously, I do like Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky as well. But
I don't mind them.
Obviously, they're not so much horror movies for me. They're more comedies.
Have you seen the last ones? The last few, like Cult of Chucky and Curse of Chucky.
No,
they're brutal.
I need to see them because everybody
They're
tells me if you like Chucky, you'll like these ones.
Yeah, they're the real. They go back to the standards of just like horrifying little.
Because was it not the last one that was, or either the last one or the one coming up on Netflix that's voiced by Mark Hamill?
Oh, that was the 2019 one.
Was it?
It's all right. It's all right.
I think it must have just been put up on Netflix because I remember seeing it. Like
that's on, and then there's a Chucky series that started. I think it started tonight in America. The Chucky show, Chucky series. That'd be quite cool. I mean, I don't know. I like Chucky, but I do like Chucky. I do enjoy the movies, but I'm not like, oh my god, Chucky. Like I'm more like that with like Halloween. You know, you can make Halloween 13. I'll still watch it. Elm Street. I like Nightmare on Elm Street. I really want a new film. I mean, I know everyone's like, oh, you can't do that because fucking they done that with in 2010. It was terrible. I actually rewatched the 2010 Elm Street reboot. Kirsty, I don't think had seen it, so I'd watched it with her.
Is that the one with the boy that played Rorschach?
Jackie Earl Haley. Now he's really good as Freddy Krueger. Like, see for what he was given to do, you're like, fair play to you, pal. I remember watching it back in 2010, and then I think I'd seen it like maybe once or twice since then, and then I watched it this year, like just sat and watched it on Netflix. It's a terrible rewatch. Like I remember.
I was waiting for you to say it. So actually, that's not a bad movie. Like,
I remember.
Just no.
I remember watching it in the cinema and being like, "It's good. I mean, it's all right. It's not bad. It's not amazing, but it's a good fucking movie." But then rewatching it with my adult head on, it's a terrible fucking movie. Like they just basically copy and pasted. There's no film. They made him more sinister and more that he was a pedophile. He's not just a kind of he abused kids, he attacked kids, he kills kids for the hell of it. He proper like done shit to them, and I'm just like, oh, you've dropped the ball there. No,
because it was always implied in the movies that he'd done that, but he never confirmed that.
Yeah, he was never a child molester. He was
just
he's a child killer, not a child molester. So they've made him that he was a full-on child molester, and you're like, nah, I don't want to. Nah, that's nasty.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. When you watch the way they done it, they made it that what if it wasn't Freddy? What if he was mistaken? And you're like, oh, don't go down that route. Oh, please, come on, no, don't go down the route of let's feel sorry for Freddy. Fuck him. And then to then have the revelation that no, actually, he was a bad bastard. He raped children. You're like, oh, that's too far. Why not just say that he killed them or something? I don't know, or fucking something. Imagine he, have it they abused them physically, or just like, no, that's not. Because you look at Robert Englund and we're like, I like Robert Englund, but then you're looking and thinking, but you done things to kids. Now I don't like that. Or it's implied that your Freddy was, part of that, thing.
Yeah.
But still, so rewatching the Elm Street reboot, pile of shite. Do I want to see a new one? Yeah, because
Yeah.
let's see what happens with technology.
Keep the
And
character alive.
yeah, cast Kevin Bacon as Freddy Krueger. I don't know why, but just I don't know. I know it's probably. I mean, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Kevin Bacon would be great," but then you're looking, he's got the voice for it.
I like see now you say it. Like I was against it there for a second, but now
He's got the voice. He's got the
I've
voice
let it
for
sink
it.
in.
I saw a fan casting on Instagram tonight actually, and it was Bill Hader as Freddy, and I'm like, oh no, don't do that. That's just, oh no, that's just
a bit much.
That voice. Come here, kids. Nah, just it'd be too weird. Cast Bill Hader as like the new Mask, the new Stanley Ipkiss. He'd be good as that. But no, Elm Street. I'd love to see a new Freddy film. I'd love to see Robert Englund come back. I mean, fuck it, he's like 70-year-old, but he can come back. I mean, there's Nick Castle came back to film a few scenes as Michael Myers, so let's just bring back Robert Englund. Why not? And have it that I can have it. Well, they could do like de-aging and CGI and shit, and doesn't even need to be him. It could just be a guy in his voice.
It's not even that. Like, he's covered in makeup. It's not like you need to de-age him. Like, exactly. He's a burn victim. Like,
exactly. He's not going to look any younger. He's burnt.
But the only one that's on my list that we haven't mentioned, or only two, are the George Romero movies, like the zombie movies, the originals.
Right? Obviously,
always love to watch them about Halloween season for obvious reasons. Like
which ones? Which ones though?
Right, always like Night of the Living Dead, like the original. Mm-hmm. Do like Day of the Dead, the one in the bunker.
I love Day of the Dead a lot more than like any like the others. I really love Day of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead's like from working in a retail position. You just like recognize everything in it.
You get
totally
it. You
understand everything.
Yeah. I worked in Morrison's. You're just like, yeah, I would do that. I would do that. You just fuck about. Fuck it. Morrison's is empty. Zombies. I would be living in a loft. Oh, you do that. Definitely.
Return of the Living Dead's like one of my favourites as well. Like I think that's
one of the ones. Fucking movie.
I know. It's one of the ones like everybody not everybody's a fan of it because it's like so different. Because
I like it.
They go by the rules of the movie, and then they're explaining like, no, hold on, they changed the movie, so like they couldn't put all the stuff out there because it was like the way they were talking about it was like
the
army told them to change them.
I like the soundtrack. The soundtrack's brilliant. Just so 80s. Brilliant. So 80s.
The whole movie, like with the guy from the very beginning, he opens up the casket with the zombie in it, and he becomes infected. Yeah. And the whole movie is him like slowly turning into a zombie, and it's just all the stuff you see. Like you see him like being in absolute pain because of the rigor mortis setting in and all that. And it's like it's like a pure education on zombies as well as a movie.
I thought it was a great film. Tarman or Tar Guy, what it was called. Brains. I thought he's brilliant. The animatronics in that, like the special effects, were fantastic. They're very good because they were looked upon as an inspiration of George Romero's do you know what? See, for being an inspiration, such as Shaun of the Dead, 20 years later, it was essentially the Shaun of the Dead of the 80s. It was a kind of spoof horror, had its horror aspects, went really like paid the price for like the special effects and the animatronics and all that stuff, and looks really good. Even to this day, 30, 40 years later, still looks good. Don't get me wrong though, like I watched them in a very strange order. So I watched Return of the Living Dead Part 2 first, and it was diabolical. I think it's like 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, right? It is diabolical.
It's not great.
I then watched Part 3 because the rocker girl, the Pearson girl, was one of the mums from the OC, and she's a MILF, and she got her boobs out in the film. So I was like, I'm watching that. And then I watched the first one only just like last year, and I thought it was a really good film. I thought it's a masterpiece for the kind of spoof horror aspect.
It's not just that; it ends on a cliffhanger as well because like you're just
yeah. But there you go.
The way they kill all the zombies is like to cremate them, but when you cremate the zombies, like
the smoke and
the smoke goes into the clouds, and then the I don't know what it is, whatever it is that's turned them into zombies goes into the rain, and then it becomes basically acid rain. and
But
then all the corpses start rising, and it's just like, holy shit, man, this is too much.
That's what fucks me off about it, the cliffhanger ending. So I watched part 2 first, then obviously 3, then 1. So watching 1, knowing the ending, the cliffhanger ending, thinking, oh, what could happen next, to then know that the next film is a pile of shite, pisses me off. I'm like,
See, that's why I've avoided the other two, because I'm just like, I like living in a cliffhanger. I'll happily live in this blissful ignorance.
Yeah. There's enough. I can't remember what other film there is. There's another film that I watched recently that I like. What was it? Oh fuck! That part 2 is diabolical, and the first one ends on a cliffhanger. Oh no, that's what it was. Oh, that's what it was. It was. I rewatched the Matrix films. Now the first Matrix film stands the test of time, right? I rewatched Reloaded and Revelations, and Reloaded is actually a better rewatch. Revelations or Revolutions was a really good rewatch as well. I thought, right, I get where they're going to go with it. They had to try and kind of not, Lord of the Rings style, fuck it, the ring goes into the fire, and that's at the end. Let's walk back to, fucking Hobbitland. So it was a very good kind of wee ending. What do we do? Fuck it, let's kill Neo off, right? Of course you're going to do that. Why not? Even though the new one, my fucking God, cannot wait for it. Matrix Resurrections. I cannot, it's the John Wick Matrix crossover we've all wanted. So when you watch the Matrix Reloaded and it gets to the end point and you see the fucking guys on the slab and it's to be continued, and you're like, I hate that cliffhanger ending because it doesn't really get resolved that well in the third one. And then when it does, you're just like, it's such a cheap cop-out of a fucking ending. Because you give us this guy who we're just like, who the fuck is he in the first place? He's nobody that we're like, oh my God, it's fucking, oh no. It's the guy from such and such. He's a nobody who then all of a sudden is the embodiment of Agent Smith. And yeah, that wee transition, you're like, oh, that's pretty cool, that's pretty smart, when he's like, oh, well, I wanted to come into the real world, and Neil's just like, oh shit, Smith, how you doing? Long time no see, nigga. And it's fucking, it's just so like fucking, it's just such an annoying cliffhanger. So Return of the Living Dead Part 1 has such an annoying cliffhanger because I know the next one's fucking pile of shit. Like a pile of shit.
See, like
it's so
I remember.
bad.
Like, I remember the first one. The first one was brilliant. The second one came out, and I liked it because I was young, I think, at the time. Because, like, rewatching it, it's like watching Attack of the Clones CGI. Like, you're just I mean, like, not that it's a bad movie. It's just, like, it just doesn't look good. Like, most of it.
It's just so much CGI.
Hurts. Aye. And then, like, the third one happened, and I kind of understand now that I'm older. It was like the same how when I was young I liked Phantom Menace, and then when I got older I understood why everybody hated it, but I still like it, like, sort of thing, because I've got early memories of it.
I love Phantom Menace.
But that sort of feeling like of like watching it when you're wee and then rewatching it when you're older with a bit more of a so-called mature brain.
That's how I look at it.
You get a different look of it, but at the same time, you start to understand why you liked it, but your opinion might change on it because you're like, hold on, mate, I totally agree with all the comments everybody else has been talking about.
Yeah, 100%. It's like going back to Scream. So I rewatched the Scream films, the first, I'll quickly say the first 4, but the 4 films that are already out. Rewatched them with Kirsty. I think she'd only seen 1 in... No, I think she'd only seen 1 in 4. I don't know if she's seen some in them all. Anyway, long story short, we watched them all. The first film for a rewatch is superb. Like 25 years later, it's a superb film. I love Scream. The very first film is the greatest of all time. I love it so much. I think even Dan's got in like his top 10 of all time favorite films. It's a great film. It's such a fantastic meta movie nerdy horror film, and also comedy as well. It's funny as fuck. Scream 2 rewatch, brilliant, good film. They try to give us The Godfather Part 2. They try to give us a fucking worthy horror sequel that really shouldn't have been that good for a horror sequel, but it worked so well. Scream 3 back in the day, I loved it, and then rewatching it, but I loved it. But then people were like, "Oh, I fucking hate it." rewatching it, you're like, I can understand why people don't like it. It's quite cheap and sloppy at times. But see, to tie everything up, full circle, all that kind of shit, you're like, all right, ring in the fire, let's walk back to Hobbit Land. Yep, it makes sense. Fucking full circle thing, right? Full ring. Scream 4, when I first watched it back in 2011 when it came out, 2010, 2011. Enjoyed it. Didn't like the fucking sparkle glare on everyone. Everything was too bright. The contrast was too high, too bright. Everyone's like bright and shit. Rewatching it, you're like, it's all right. It's very like, let's cash in on the whole reboot thing. But reboots, original's the best thing. And yeah, it was all right, but it does feel kind of forced for its time. Whereas the trailer for the new one, I'm not grabbed by it, but it does feel more of a Scream film, more of a legacy film, more of a let's build on the legacy of the 25 years, 25 plus years. Whereas the fourth one felt like a very kind of cash grab. It's reboot season, let's cash in. This one feels more like the Scream 4 we should have had. It's 20 years later, let's cash in. But, as what it is. But no, the Scream films, but yeah, as we were talking about rewatches, obviously, there's some rewatches that are good, and there's some rewatches that are tough to watch, and there's some rewatches that you loved at the time, hate now, hated at the time, loved now. Same with Hellraiser. Now, I've went full circle with the very first Hellraiser. Watched it for the first time last year, hated it. Don't get the hype. Didn't like it. Thought it was a load of shite. I genuinely was just like, this is terrible. This film is so bad. I don't like it. Hate it. I went and bought the Blu-ray the other day. I love it now. I've watched it 4 times now. Hated it last year. Thought it was diabolical. Don't get the hype. Hate it. A few months later, it was £99 to rent on Amazon Prime. I thought, you know what? Give it a second go. Watched it, and I was still like, nah, shite. Don't get it. Don't get the hype. Load of shite. Rubbish film. Terrible. Watched it again this year, and I was like, I get the concept. I get the aspect. I get it. It's, fuck it. Okay. Watched it the 4th time there at the summertime. I think it's post-summertime. Love it. Think it's a great film. I love the aspect. I love the basicness of it. It's a fantastic film. Bought the Blu-ray. Love it. Watched the second one, part 2, which literally begins I think it's like a year after the first one. It's good. Not great. But it's and then I watched the third one, and I thought the third one was terrible. And I've not even watched the other 24 direct-to-DVD films. But there you go. So there's Hellraiser. There's 4 times within a year I've watched it, hated it, watched it, didn't really like it, watched it, thought it was all right, and then watched it, thought it was fantastic. But yeah,
I think that's kind of similar to me with the sort of Alien movies.
Yeah,
first 2,
that's interesting.
Love the first 2 Alien movies because they're like completely different movies. The first one is like a proper suspense thriller. Second one's like it is the basis for every fucking action game you've ever played.
Yeah, perfect.
The third one was just like
it's weird.
It's fucking weird. Like they're back to one alien. It's not even a human alien hybrid or anything. It's like
dog. It's a dog thing.
It's a dog or a cow or some shit like that. They kill off the wee Wayne and
I know.
And
Hicks
from
Michael Biehn.
Hicks, the pure badass from the first movie.
I know. They
killed Reese.
They killed Kyle Reese off again. Oh no, wait. Was that not before? Was that what was first? Terminator, then Alien 3. Yeah, that's right. Alien 3 was after Terminator.
Either way,
yeah. I know.
So they killed off the two of the characters that you kind of wanted to survive, or 2 out of the 3 characters. The cat somehow still alive. What else? Oh,
I've only ever seen Alien 3 once.
James.
I am.
Hey man, how you doing?
Temporarily.
I see your
I'm Jordan. How you doing?
Hello, effing guy.
How you doing, man? You good?
Yes, I'm great. Are we talking about horror films still?
We are.
So we're Matty is currently ranking the Alien films.
Ranking the Alien films, well, that's easy. It's like 4, 3, 2, 1. Like it goes backwards. Like it's so easy.
Is that worst to best? I think aye.
Yeah, it's worst to best. Like that's it.
All right, cool. Right, that's
right.
right.
Yeah, do you know what? Yeah.
1, 2. Like that's it. Like because 2 is the best film, like quintessentially.
Yes. I'll give you that one.
I like your voice.
Thanks, you big sluts. Like I'm currently my dad, so I'm only going to be here for like 5-10 minutes, so it's going to be a very brief thing. But
cool,
yeah, I'm just like, yeah, if Matt rates the Alien films any differently from that, he's wrong. And that's just the truth. So that's it.
I would say you're pretty bang on with my Alien ratings.
Yeah, no, I am. Like, I know I am because like my logic is so keen.
Prometheus is always doing there, fucking really low as well.
I would say, Alien Resurrection. I had more fun with that than Alien 3.
Yeah, aye.
So I'd maybe say for me it'd be 3, 4, 1 Aliens. I had more fun with Alien Resurrection back in the day when I was younger. It was just a kind of more fun movie. Alien 3 was just
I think if like Aliens, like so Alien 2 is your like number one film, you're pretty right.
Yeah.
I remember going to see like a screening in the IMAX for the original Alien movie.
Oh, okay.
I remember sitting there and being like, "Oh my god, I'm so bored. Like, I'm enjoying it, but like, I'm so bored." And then I went to see like a screening for Aliens, and I was just like, "Yeah, this is why people like refer Aliens to like Aliens 2 because it's just like so much fun."
Yeah.
Like the first Aliens film is so slow, but like the second Aliens film is like so like action packed and great. It's like the second Aliens film is like watching like Mortal Kombat in live action. It's just pure cool. Like it's just like I'm here for it. I want this. This is what I want. So I'm sorry to like get in the way of your like rankings for Alien movies, but sorry, Matt. It's the truth. It's the only way it is. No one sits and says Alien 3 is their favorite Aliens movie. You know.
Oh no, it's not. No,
because it's nobody's. But I think we've went through near enough everything anyway. But James, before we sign off, what's your favourite horror movie? Evie? Horror movie. Just horror movie in general.
Do you know? I tell you, it's definitely going to be Nightmare on Elm Street because when I was a wee boy, my dad used to drive the car to go with my younger brother. He used to watch Nightmare on Elm Street. He used to love Freddy Krueger, and I thought there's a bit sus there. I don't like it. And just watching Nightmare on Elm Street, I was just like, oh my god, I'm so terrified of this film. It was the only horror film I was terrified of until I was like 17. And I said, you know what? I'm going to sit and I'm going to confront my fears and I'm going to watch it. And I remember watching it when I was 17. And I was just like, I don't want to be here. Like, I don't want to be watching this right now. Like, I just don't. There's something about Freddy Krueger that is so like creepy. Well, obviously it's because he's a pedo, but like that's it's so minor. It's so minor. When you consider.
I feel like 90% of this podcast all night has been
there. And I remember sitting there, my younger brother watching, oh yeah, like Nightmare on Elm Street is great, and he's like younger than me, and I was just like, oh my god, like, how can you watch this? And he was like, oh yeah, it's just so good, it's so good, and like, so the first horror film I ever watched was Halloween, and that was like when I sat there and I said, watch Halloween, and if I can get through Halloween, I can get through anything. And I said, brilliant, I can do this. And then, so I watched Halloween and we went through it and I was like, yeah, okay, I can do this. And I watched Nightmare on Elm Street at like 18 years old. I was still like, oh my God, like I'm shitting myself. Like, because this man with his big fucking fingers is terrifying me. So,
this man with his big fingers. Ah.
As a gay man, I don't have a problem with, but I have a problem. And
I don't mind fingers, but if there's some fucking knives in any fingers,
but like when they're sharpened, no, not for me. I have my limits, and I have to just sit there and go, no, it's not for me, Freddie, you mad pedo bastard. And yeah, like I just remember Nightmare on Elm Street fucking terrifies me. That's why it's my favourite horror film, because like it still to this day terrifies me, and I don't know why. I don't know why I sit there and I go, oh my god, like I can't. Like I can watch it. I love watching Johnny Depp get his stomach ripped open. Like, something about that I love. Like,
Excuse me, sweetheart.
oh, what's your favourite horror movie, Anne?
Who are you speaking to?
I'm talking to people on a podcast.
Is Ashley there?
No, that's Matthew, and that's
Jordan.
effing guy.
Effing guy. And where does
Do you watch horror
Oh.
films?
But I think they'll watch them with me, but not really. But if you've got one going, I'll watch it.
Yes, let's do that.
But I'm only pouring myself another drink. And I'll leave you. Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
This is going to be like a fully recorded thing. It's going to be out there, and like people are going to see
Aye.
it. So like, hi.
Aye.
But yeah, that's why I don't.
Yeah, we back Glasgow. Stuff on oh, well, it wasn't James, he said.
Well,
was
he's
it?
Figuric, and I don't know where the other one's from.
Matty, I love Dan's comment. Fuck it,
Yes,
Alien
make
3 is my
that
favourite
nice.
in the franchise. You
Well,
just take
there
the
we go.
piss.
There we go,
Just
right
take-
there.
Dan's taking the piss. I can guarantee you.
Going by that logic, his favourite movie must be the last Jedi.
Oh, you've got it there,
Oh,
right? Well, just do that, man. Just do that, man.
Just take that. I'm here. I'm sorry that this happened. It's kind of good though. People love that. It's so impromptu and unscripted.
Realism.
It's pure
Yeah.
realism.
He was going home at what time? 7 o'clock tonight.
Yes,
His father decided to take him for a couple of pints.
yes. My
Oh, yes,
father.
and I'm going home and it's up there.
Yes,
So
I'm,
obviously still here.
I'm deeply embarrassed. I'm honestly not that drunk, and makes me out to feel like drunker than I am.
Well, I don't know. But we always get a bad name for his mother. Every time you didn't your father's, he gets pissed. Well,
No.
you know what? That's not my fault.
I'm not pissed.
No, he's just drinking the Glenmorangie. You know, getting a real good bit of Scottish.
Oh,
in
Glen
him.
Morangi. They don't know what that is. I'll be there in 10 minutes.
Yeah, sorry. And stop that. Bye, guys.
Sorry. No one watches this. It's fine. Like, I'm here. Like, let's do this every week. That was completely not supposed to happen, and now I feel really embarrassed. So, who wants to ask me another question? Oh, she's back.
I'm going to be quiet. Can I get these tenants out there?
Aye, of course you can. Then here you
This is
are.
excellent.
Like-
Look, I'm
Right.
loving every minute of this.
Love. Love you.
Oh, she speaks to me like she's fucking.
And juice, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
I'll be there in 5.
All right, take it 10. It'll take me 10 minutes to drink that.
She talks like she's like she talks like she's Blofeld from like Spectre. Is that how are you, my love? Like, and I just have to live with that.
Oh, that's funny.
I really hate this because like if people like watch this and go, "Oh my god, that was so funny," I'm gonna have to come down here every time I podcast. So I'm just gonna be like, and you come like, and you'll be like, "What?"
Christ.
I'll say something really impromptu, so I do apologise about that. But you know,
Oh, that's funny.
Oh.
That was funny.
so yes, to sum that up, Freddy Krueger terrifies me because he's a mad pedo. That's the only reason why I'm scared of him. Everyone else is fine.
Everyone else is fine.
Yeah, like Michael Myers, he's fine. Hellraiser, he's fine. Like he's not that bad. Well, he is, but like he's not. And who's the other? Like the Jason. Jason is probably the worst for me. Like I don't like Jason. Am I the only person that thinks that?
No, I love Jason.
No, I like Jason as like who he is, but like when I just see Jason walk out and it's like I'm just like, oh my god, I can't be bothered. Like, I'm just like, oh, it's Jason. Like, he walks about the camp. I think is it like true that the only film that Jason doesn't like appear in the camp is like Freddy versus Jason?
No, he's in the camp in that.
No, he's on the camera.
And don't mention Jason X as an example because that doesn't count.
I think it's the one.
That one.
It's not the one where he goes to Manhattan.
What film is that?
Number 7 or number 8? Number 8, I think it is.
Okay.
Aye.
Okay.
There's a whole scene where he's just raping it down the main high street and he just boots the punks thingy.
Like
boombox.
The camping. Is that like 4 films?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So you can tell him. Oh well, there was that one film we went to Manhattan, like where they just like moved the camp, and then there was like 8, and then there was 9, and then there was X where he like got shot to space, like
Go to space, yeah.
Yeah, he just got, like he done a full fucking William Shatner, and he was like we're in space.
I don't know.
Like, I don't know what
I don't know if it's either because you're drunk or because you're gay, but that's just fucking brilliant.
I'm gay.
That's him like normal as well.
This
like,
is me normal.
He has no filter.
I'm just sitting drinking whiskey because like I'm living my Lucifer Morningstar fantasy. Like I'm not drunk. Like I'm just doing my thing.
This is
like,
fantastic. This is on it. This is quality right now. This is brilliant.
Is it? Like I feel like people look at me and be like, "Oh my god! Like look at this."
Nope, there we go.
Shambles.
Jason takes Manhattan. Well, Jason takes Manhattan for the last 15 minutes of the film because the budget was so fucking extortionate. They're like, "Fuck."
How was it extortionate though? Like they just put him in the mask and that they'd already bought him. Like they don't even put him in the fucking makeup because he doesn't do anything. He's just sat there in the mask, and it's just like, oh, they take the mask off, and it's just like, oh my god, you're terrifying, and it's just like, oh well, cool, brilliant. I've always been like this, you know, woke up like you know, he's just doing his thing. Like,
are you going to cut this? Are you going to cut this at the podcast episode? Or are you going to keep it in?
I'm a
fuck. Every single bit in, unless you get like a lawsuit put against you, in which case you'll have to cut things out. Unless you get a lawsuit, you don't have to. I'm just kind of sat here like I've always sat and going, oh, I want to join in their podcast. Like, it'll be so cool, it'll be so fun. I didn't think it would be quite like this, but it is. So, you know.
There we go.
Well, thank you anyway.
I'm happy to give you for like Halloween, like you know, like. You want to see, like, do you want me to talk about fictional horror, but I'm a real life horror, so it's like I could get my like actual mum involved, but she'd be just like, nah, I don't watch horror films, man, they're shit. I'm just like, why? He's just like, they're just not scary. It's like, I think that's just because you don't watch them. My mum has a harder time watching like Rocket Man because there's like gay sex in it, and she's like, oh, you know what I mean? Like that's just kind of what that is. So.
Well, that took a turn for the books.
Am I the real guy? I'll sit through it.
What's that? I'm confused here, right? Because you're saying your real mum. So who is that woman right there? That's part 1.
That's my dad's wife, but not my mum.
Right,
my mum's iconic. Like my mum is like next level iconic.
Right, that's part 1. Right, part 2 is she's like, for the gay sex, right? Because it's the gay. I'm like,
no, but that's just everybody. Like, if you put gay sex on any TV, like, if you just like linked your phone to any smart TV and played gay sex, they'd be like, oh, like, what the fuck is going on? You know, that's just kind of like what that is.
Do you know what? I'd regret asking any questions.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It just means that it's like, oh, it's a thing that exists, you know, like, and they're just like, oh. God, like as a heterosexual woman, I did not think I would ever see that, but I am seeing it. So you know, my life has changed forever. I think that's what that is. You know?
All right. Yeah, okay, it's all good.
Is anyone else?
The whole show took a bit of a fucking turn, hasn't it? Like, we were talking about horror movies like 5 minutes ago, and we were talking about gay sex.
And now it's Queers Are Us.
Honey,
it's tremendous.
Gay sex is a horror movie. Like it is. Like, have you ever seen Leprechaun? That is like the Leprechaun in Leprechaun is like an LGBT ally. Like he's like an LGBT ally. I used to remember like my mum used to watch like the True Movies channel, but the True Movies channel used to always talk about the horror channel because they were obviously run by the same people. And it's like, oh, do you like scary stuff? Like watch the horror channel. But this was on True Movies. And I remember sitting there and being like, oh my shit, like I'm going to watch the horror channel. And then Leprechaun was on it. And I was like, that's gay as fuck. Like, it's just this like tiny little leprechaun who runs about killing people. But like he runs about in like a big green and yellow outfit. And I was just like, oh my God, like this is like gay rights in a movie. Like, am I wrong? Like, am I? Like, it's just so good. Like the horror channel is great. Like we should all watch the horror channel for Halloween, you know, because I want them to keep going. And that's it.
That's it. Well,
so anyway, while I'm here, what is your
fuck.
favourite horror movie, effing guy?
We've been through it all for the last fucking hour and a half.
Yeah, but watch the last hour and a half because that's not what I do.
I don't know.
I don't
I've got
before I turn up. Like
I've
that's
got a few.
Like
I've got a few. I love like Halloween, the original, Psycho, The Fog.
Psycho. Oh yes,
The
okay.
Fog.
We love that.
The Fog was good. I like The Fog.
The Thing. Do you like the
Yeah,
Thing?
Thing's fantastic as well.
The Thing's fucking great. Like
The Thing's fantastic for its iconic, you know, special effects. It's realism. It's practical effects. You know,
I mean, the thing about the Thing. The thing about
the thing about the thing.
The thing about the thing that I love about the Thing is that is like it is so like down to earth. It's so real. Like it's just like, oh, you don't know who the Thing has like embodied, you know. Like so, you don't need a lot of special effects. You don't need all of that. It's you're just sat there in the situation of like, oh my fucking God, like what's going on, you know? Like who is the Thing? That's why I think it's one of like. That's why I was saying that it's one of the best. I remember watching it with someone, and they were like, "Oh yeah, like this film just goes on for too long." And I said, "But like, I feel like that's the kind of like charm of it."
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
You're always sitting consciously like,
Yeah.
The Thing. I love that.
The length adds tension. It's as if the length of the film's its own character.
Yeah, no, of course, absolutely. I mean, you know, as a spin-off to that, like I know that I actually know that Matt's favorite horror movie is His Girlfriend Susie.
yeah,
she is really excellent. I could watch her at any moment of time. But like on a serious note, what is your like favorite film, like horror-wise, Matt?
it's The Thing.
Is it The Thing?
Aye.
I thought your favorite horror movie was like what was it called?
Batman Forever.
What was it called? Was Spider-Man? Or just any Marvel movie because you fucking hate Marvel?
I don't hate Marvel
You do.
as much as I used to. Like
I remember you sat there and you honestly tried to tell me.
Oh, mic dropped.
no,
Do you not remember like when you sat there and you were like, "Oh yeah, Justice League's a great film," and I was like, "No, it isn't." Like,
get off. Like,
you know,
I do
Justice
remember that.
League's
Yeah.
better than Avengers. I was like, "No, it isn't." You're lying. Why are you lying?
Oh, he's just said it live on the podcast at Matty Monster.
Well, it's a good
As
time to
said.
end. I'll see you later.
Yeah, I'm gonna go now because I don't want people to like have a bad word to say about me. But no, I mean it is like it's fine. You just need to own it, man. Like you know.
At one point, I was majorly into the DC stuff
I mean,
more than
Zack
I was the
Snyder's
Marvel stuff.
think it's
But
better.
That's cool, man.
now I'm back on the Marvel side. Like I can't pick a side. I just like being all over the place.
Marvel
I mean,
trade.
like Zack Snyder's just like is better than the first two Avengers films, but it kind of would have to be with 4 hours, like because it's like 4 hours long. I remember watching it and being like, "Oh my God, that's long!" Like that is like a lot to get through. Like it just is what it is, you know. So you were technically right. You're a bit of a soothsayer. but
Yeah.
there's so much going on. Did you not like Zack Snyder's Justice League?
I loved it. I loved it.
Loved it.
I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was worth the wait.
I
The 4
enjoyed it.
hours.
I mean,
The 4
Ezra
hours didn't
Miller.
bother me.
it was horrifying because like when I seen Jared Leto at the end of it, I was like, oh my god, I thought your like time was up, but apparently not. Like
It was a good scene.
Maybe now.
Yeah, maybe no.
that is what that is. So, you know, to keep with the theme of Halloween, terrified of Freddy Krueger because he's a mad pedo. We love that.
Yeah.
Damn that. I don't like Mob Justice though. I hate like. Did you ever see like the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street?
Yeah, we're just talking about that actually before you come on. It's a terrible rewatch.
No, but it's like it's not a terrible movie. It's because they had the perfect actor because they had the Rorschach.
Yeah. He was good. He was good.
That is like on paper, you sit there and go, "That's perfect." Like he's the perfect person to play it. But like you see the scenes like where it's like, oh, the town like set fire to his house and like all that. I'm just like, just call the policeman, you know. No need to
I understand that.
fire. No need to make him be this person. Just like call the police, you know.
Yeah.
I actually really liked that movie. I didn't like the movie. I liked him as Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, he was great as Freddy Krueger.
But no one will be like Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
Of course not.
I always remember an iconic moment from like I think it's like the 4th Nightmare on Elm Street film where like Freddy's playing the video game.
Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmares Part 6.
Part 6. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I just remember sitting there and watching that and being like, that's a thing that happened. Someone filmed that scene and put it out in cinemas. And for some reason, it's excellent. I remember watching that scene and being like, I'm no longer scared of Freddy.
Yeah.
I'm like iconically sitting there and going, wow, this man's excellent. You know, he sat there with his burnt face and his shitty stripy jumper, and he's
Playing
just
a video game.
you know, he's just killing people via video game. Like, who's not doing that? Like, you know,
Yeah,
that's what I
get
think. Anyway, like, I just think give the man respect. Like, he's just doing his thing. He's just having a great time because he has to be so fucking creative with whatever it is he's doing. So yeah. That's my thoughts on Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger is my most like terrifying like horror character. Period. Is he in Dead by Daylight? Is that
you. Yeah.
Is he actually?
Dan,
in it?
Dan would know that.
No, Hellraiser. Is Hellraiser in it?
Dan knows that one. I think it's Freddy, Jason, and Michael.
And
I'm
Saw
sure
is in it.
Ghostface is in it as well.
Yeah.
Is in it. You know, on that subject, like I think Freddy is like my most terrifying like villain, but like Saw's my favorite horror movie franchise.
Leatherface, that's right, Dan. Leatherface as well.
Not
Yeah.
like Leatherface like doesn't really interest me because he just walks about with a chainsaw and he's like, oh, like, and he's just doing his thing, killing people. Saw is like actually my favorite horror movie franchise, and I haven't seen a Saw film in like 3 years, like 4 years.
Saw's good. I like the Saw films. They're good. They're really good, actually.
I think the first 4 are like excellent, but like everything for that is just like an absolute piss take. They're just like, oh yeah, we've got money, like so we're just going to make these keep happening.
Yeah.
Like, oh god, like I can't do this anymore. Like I was just like, after like who's the guy that plays Jigsaw? Is it
Tobin Bell.
Tobin Bell?
Yeah.
Is it Tobin Bell? He's so
Tobin Bell.
great as that character, but like you see him in like other films and you're just like, Tobin, like just retire. Like it's fine. You've done enough.
Yeah, I get you.
So-
Like he's a terrible actor or anything else. He's just only good as
I don't
Jigsaw.
even think he's a terrible actor. I think he's a great actor, but I think he's just like Tobin, just like retire. You don't have to do anything else. You've been in the first 3 Saw films. You don't have to do anything else. Like, you know that way when you see someone and you're just like, you can just stop now.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
'cause you don't have to do anything, but he does it anyway. That's kind of how I feel about Tobin. Like, but I think he's just so great as Jigsaw. Like, I think he's really cool. But like, see when like you see them try to like shoehorn them into like recent films, I'm just like, stop, like please, just stop. Like, for me, as a true fan, please just stop because you're going to embarrass yourself. Kind of like how I'm doing now, but like, it is what it is.
What's your thoughts on the Evil Dead? Just lastly, what's your thoughts on Evil Dead? Anyone?
Just in general.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm very sad that Ash never made it into Mortal Kombat 11. I know you're laughing, but it's true. Like, I was just sat there going, it was like they advertised that Ash would be in it, and I was like, oh yeah, I just want to see Ash like cut Liu Kang in half, but apparently, like that's not a thing that's happening now. And I was just like kind of sat there, like, oh my god, like, okay, like, whatever. So I don't know, like, I don't.
Apparently, Ash is in Dead by Daylight though.
Well, yeah. Like, funnily enough, I've like never actually played Dead by Daylight.
You just know enough about it?
No, I've heard like a lot of my friends play it, and like a lot of like my pals like really enjoy it. But I've always sat there and been like, oh, I'll play it and I'll really like it, but I just never get into it. I don't know why. I just
It's one of them ones you can't really play it with randoms. Like you have to actually talk to people to play it. Sometimes I find.
Oh,
like,
do you?
Yeah,
that means making friends, and fuck that.
Dan likes it. Dan loves playing it.
That's like kind of talking like I don't know. That's kind of like talking while having sex. It's just like I don't want to talk to you, you know. It's just like, oh, we're kind of doing this thing. Don't compliment me, you know. Like this is kind of like a thing. And I feel like that's what Dead by Daylight is, because I'm just like, oh, I don't want to talk to you. I just want to like murder you.
That's a good comparison.
Is it? I think it is. Like, I'm just sat there and I'm like, I've got an empty bottle of Southern Comfort that I'm going to end your life. Like, and it's just like, oh, but like, you're just so tender, like, when you hold me, and I'm just like, stop talking to me. Like, I don't want you to talk to me. Like, you know? That's kind of where I'm at. Like, on a personal level.
And on that note, Matty.
Aye. Right, so we've been recording for like an hour and a half now. I've got a lot of useful footage. Thanks to Pendles for
like for me.
Aye. Thanks for jumping in for the last half hour, James.
You did say to me, you know, just jump in and like everyone.
No.
It was funny. It was funny, man. Cheers for joining us.
No, honestly, next time I'll make sure to join you like properly and like not have been drinking. Like I'm not drunk, but like I've been drinking, so I don't care. Like, so I just say what I want. But no, I would love to join you again, like at another time. You know, shall we do 3 weeks from now? Do a Christmas episode, talk about how much we love Home Alone.
Yeah, if you want, man.
And how much the new Home Alone remake is horrible.
I've not watched the trailer yet.
Terrible, shitty idea.
Yeah, have you not seen the trailer for it?
I've stayed away from it.
I'm fine to talk about the horrible remake.
We'll save all this conversation for the next one, but aye. So thanks, guys, for joining. I'm going to sign us off now. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, all the other places you can follow us on the podcast.
Yeah, you'll find me. That effing guy. Bye, guys.